Hi, my name is Shane. I use they, them pronouns. This is the lucky 13th session of our Impossible Landscapes campaign, organised through the Open Hearth gaming calendar. If you want to find out more about Open Hearth, you can check out openhearthgaming.com. It's an online community that plays and talks about lots of Indian story games. I want you all to know that I have personally suffered incomprehensible horrors to be here today. What I mean is, this morning we were out of coffee beans. The session starts too early for me to go and get more, so I had to just go to the servo around the corner from my house and get a coffee there. I guess that's a gas station, is what people call that in North America.
I am aghast.
It is unbelievable what Carcosa has done to me. Setting aside,
Carcosa gas station coffee in the U.S. can be pretty good if you're at like AM, PM, or 7-Eleven.
It was not good. It was not. Also, definitely wasn't as strong as the coffee that I normally have in the morning, which was another hardship.
That's brutal.
All right, so I'll get you to introduce yourselves and your characters now, names and pronouns and anything you want to share. Brandon, can I get you to go first this week?
Sure. Hi, I'm Brandon He, and I'm playing Tara Reinhardt, who was a fire chief before she got embroiled in all of this Carcosa business. I'm playing bass in a rock and roll concert on Sunday.
Oh, amazing!
Yeah, they're playing 80s one-hit wonders.
What's your favorite 80s one-hit wonder?
Oh, Black Velvet.
Nice, great show.
Fantastic song.
I may ask all the players to introduce themselves by telling us their favorite 80s one-hit wonder as we go along. Thank you, Mark.
Oh man, put on the spot. I didn't have enough time to think about it. Okay. Anyway, my name is Mark. Pronouns he, him, and they, them. I'm playing Elena Anisimov. Pronouns she, her. Former Russian KGB person and now teacher at Boston U. And Mark's favorite one-hit wonder, I think, is probably, and maybe this is debatable, but Take On Me.
Yeah, that's not a one-hit wonder.
Pardon me?
They had more hits than that, right?
Yeah,
I have no idea.
They did not.
Really.
Okay, my mistake.
Okay.
All right.
So, still valid.
All right. I promise not to argue with anyone else about what their favorite one-hit wonder is.
I'm so privileged, Shane.
We considered it for a concert and decided it's actually very difficult to play, especially since we don't have an expert keyboardist.
All right, Blake.
G'day, I'm Blake, he, him, playing Felix Straussman, he, him, teacher, physicist, recently deceased, but back. But most importantly, my favourite 80s one-hit wonder is Don't Pay the Ferryman by Chris de Burgh.
Oh, yeah, a terrific song.
Nice choice. Thank you. And Puckett.
Hey there, I'm Puckett, and I use he, him pronouns. I'll be playing Sarah Bradford, who uses she, her pronouns. Former art forger, current dismayed human being at all the shit that has gone sideways, as well as seeing Felix alive again, because that's really not supposed to happen after you die. That's just like a thing. And as for my favorite 80s one-hit wonder song, I'm going to cheat. Lamal's Never-Ending Story is up there. Baltimore's Jungle Boy is up there. And then I think it's Total Coelho, I Eat Cannibals. That's a lot of fun. And Don't Put Another Dime in the Jukebox by the Flirts.
Wow.
Don't test me. Don't press on one hit wonders in the 80s.
No. You just I'm just remarking at the breadth of your musical recall here.
I mean, Gangrene's cover of Voices Carry would also count, which would be much more in my wheelhouse since they're a Boston hardcore band. But I suppose Amy Mann's or Till Tuesday's version of Voices Carry would also count because I don't think they ever had another hit either. I'll shut up now.
My favorite one-hit wonder, at least if we like count favorite as the one that you wake up like with it stuck in your head the most often, is Stutter Rap by Morris Minor and the Majors. Yes, the silence that greeted that is fully appropriate.
Hilarious.
So I'm going to recap where we're at briefly. You have all been forced to flee your lives, your loved ones, possibly the Earth itself. You are wanted fugitives. Delta Green has turned against you. The power of Carcosa is growing all around you. More and more of Boston and the world are succumbing to the alien city. Your characters have found their way to the Hotel Broad Albin. Felix, as mentioned, died getting here, but doesn't seem to remember that. It hasn't really slowed him down. You came here after getting a letter that read, find the Hotel Broad Albin, find the Whisper Labyrinth, find the Author's Bottle, find the City, the Lake, its shadow, etc., etc., etc. Love, Abigail. So you're now looking for that Whisper Labyrinth. Tim Bale, who is also looking for the labyrinth, proposed a deal that would let all of you find it. Sarah declined, and as we finished last time, was considering summoning Person, a demon she found a bit more agreeable in the past. While Felix was off exploring the Broad Albin's basements for signs of the labyrinth. We'll talk in just a sec about where Tara has been or what's happened to Tara. But before we do that, is there anything anyone wants to add or ask about where we're at as we start today?
How did we find the Hotel Broad Albin since I wasn't there?
Does anyone want to field that one?
Oh, sure. Unless, Mark, do you want to take it?
Go ahead.
We had to flee in terror and genuine fear for our lives, and we had to be basically getting chased, corrupted by Carcosa, which meant we all sat around and did some drugs. And then we basically had to wait for Static Protocol to start chasing us with the intent of killing us. And, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, I guess. Yeah, we also found out that Yelena, in addition to being a crack shot, can apparently put down Static Protocol agents. So
we're Static Protocol and the mask and
the night goggles and
like that,
and everything,
and shotguns and all that matter thing.
Yeah, and they pursued us, and we just ran like hell, and we found ourselves in a number of different situations, including a theater. I think that was where Felix bought it. And then we see down the street, there's this Hotel Broad Albin. Not sure why it's there or how we got there, but Static Protocol by that point was running in terror as well. So there was something behind us that they didn't want to face. And well, we had the good sense to decide that we didn't want to face it either. So
did we do the King in Yellow at all?
Nope.
Okay. No, all this happened before that.
Yeah. Thank you, Puckett. Anything else that anyone wants to go over before we get started?
The Hotel Broad Albin has really good coffee and pastries, and I strongly recommend that you try some.
Yeah, we had decided, since time no longer has any meaning, we just hang out for a little bit and enjoy our time at this extraterrestrial hotel.
Yeah, I guess the other thing maybe to mention is that since Sarah has been able to sort of feel or sense where the demons of the Asgersha are, in the hotel she has the sense that they are a vast, vast distance away. Again, suggesting that you may not be on Earth any longer.
I'm not sure if Tara was there for the mirror walking bit. Felix could walk through mirrors and come out other mirrors, so we used that to transport around a bit. Yeah, don't ask me why, it just worked.
Okay, so let's get started. I want to start with Felix as you head down into the basements. You've been some way down here before, so you know more or less how it goes. The first basement level is where the staff live. These are tiny apartments, sort of packed in like sardines off a central hallway. It always sounds like they're having a wild time. You can hear parties and arguments and sex and all kinds of like signs of chaos and joy and strange things.
Okay.
Under that, as you go down, the next basement is like an enormous industrial laundry that takes up the whole floor. It is brutally hot. The bellhops that work there are generally stripped to the waist and sort of dripping with sweat, too busy to pay attention to anything except their work.
Okay.
Next level down, well, actually, hold on a sec. As you pass through the laundry, you see Tara. The bellhops here are looking even more annoyed than usual because they're having to sort of walk around this woman who's lying in the middle of their workspace. Tara, you, as we start today, are just waking up. The last thing that you remember with great clarity is traveling to the storage space to set up some material for the play.
Right.
And I would love for you to make a power by 5 roll to see how much more you remember than that.
Okay. Let's give it a try. Yes.
Okay. So you remember a few things. They're kind of impressionistic. They're not, they're not fully clear. You have a memory of being chased. You have a memory that you were being chased by women wearing these kind of strange, scrappy yellow rags. You have a memory of hearing men talking in a European language, maybe Russian or something similar. And right before you woke up, the last thing that you remember is a creaky woman's voice close by you whispering, "It is a terrible thing to fall into the hands of the living God." And almost immediately on hearing that, you wake up and start to stir and see Felix across the room and feel the terrible heat of the laundry. What do you do?
Sit up and wipe my brow. Look over at Felix.
Tara, is that you? You okay? What are you doing here?
Where's here?
This is the Hotel Broad Album. You're down in the laundry section. I'm looking for, clues, odd stuff, trying to figure out what the deal is here.
I must have gotten lost. I was chased by some women who were dressed almost in rags.
Oh, I haven't seen anything like that. I've been here for a couple of days, but I'm not super sure how I got here. The others are upstairs, just like watching TV and stuff. I'm just trying to be a bit more productive.
Watching TV.
Yeah.
Is it Carcosa TV? I mean,
no, I don't think so. But
I don't remember coming here. It feels like I'm waking up from a reverie of some sort, like I was unconscious or anesthetized.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah,
I had this experience once when I was in something like this, when I was waking up in the hospital after an operation. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, I felt a bit the same for a couple of days. We were being chased by like masked gunmen and stuff, and trying to look for this hotel. And then the next thing I know, I was here. And then the others rocked up a couple of days. Them.
The static protocol people that we heard about.
Yeah, they were chasing us, and I was here for a couple of days, and then the others rocked up. That's why they're just kind of resting and trying to get their energy back. But they're upstairs.
No, there was. No, I mean, I remember being chased. I remember some men speaking a language which sounded vaguely like Russian, but it wasn't like Russian. I've heard Elena speak Russian, but it was something like that. I couldn't understand it. And then I heard this very kind of scratchy woman's voice saying, "It's a terrible thing to fall into the hands of a living God."
That's not comforting.
These are all, well, as I said, I'm not sure these things happen to me, you know.
It's a bit hard to separate dream from reality with everything that's been happening recently.
Not just dream, but just reality penetrating reality.
I'll take you up to the others. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go up.
All right, so let's start heading up that way.
It's hot down here.
Yeah.
And
all the steam drying stuff.
And I could swear that someone just stepped over me without, like, giving me a second thought.
All right, so we'll come back to you two. Sarah and Yelena, is there anything that... So Bale just left. You were giving some consideration to an invocation. What are you doing as the others head back up towards you?
You're muted if you're talking, Mark.
I'm not. I saw you unmuted, so I was waiting for you to start.
Well, he was an asshole.
Hence my disinclination to be polite.
Yeah. This is I think one of the rare times in dealing with, well, Carcosa, that you're right.
Is there, and okay, you know my stance about summoning demons, but at this point, is there anyone else that we could get this answer from?
Oh, come on. Elena, short answer, yes. Longer answer, you might not like some of the rituals.
I already don't like anything.
Well, then multiply that by 10, I guess. This might be stuff that you want to be out of the room for.
Like, all right, well, I'm just... No, I can't let you do it yourself. Or rather, I won't let you do it alone.
Okay. Well, give me some salt. Let's get started.
I mean, it's not just salt. For the ritual, you're going to need things like swords and garlands of flowers and a ring, you know. What are you going to do to find all of the stuff that you need?
I'm going to wait for Felix to come back and give him a shopping list.
I can at least get some salt.
All right. So Felix and Tara, you arrive back at the room where Sarah and Yelena are staying.
Hey, look who I found. She was being laundered.
It wasn't Tiger.
This isn't even the 7th weirdest thing that's happened today, so... Okay.
No, he found me down in the laundry, but I don't know how I got there.
Okay, so in the clothes sense, the money sense.
Yes, clothing. There's a whole giant laundry room. I mean, steamy and hot as anything. Industrial. Building-sized laundry machines like they use in hotels.
I'll get Tara like a pastry and something to drink to.
That'd be great.
Actually, well, Felix, why don't you let Yelena and I handle that? I need a couple of things, and I'm hoping that you can just, pop through a mirror and maybe grab them for me.
You can try.
Okay, and I'll start scribbling on a piece of paper.
Can I burglar to my resume? Sweet. Okay.
And I suspect, based on what Shane said, that the scribbling goes on for an increasingly worrying length of time.
So, Felix, if you were to climb into a mirror to go and find some swords, where would you go? Where would you be hoping to go?
I don't know. Is it like a Walmart or a Kmart that has a mirror? And because then they'd have a wide range of stuff.
Of swords? See, swords to me is
Well,
the
not-
one that's like more challenging.
Swords.
One of those weird knife shops that also has swords. Everybody know what I'm talking about? You have those in your country?
I've never gone looking. I'm not sure.
This is
Well,
America. We have them in malls.
No,
Oh no, we got those too.
Not a lot of those, but sometimes they're like in army surplus stores. I mean,
True.
Yeah.
It has been quite a while since I've been in a mall in a city, but they used to have cutlery stores where you could buy cooking knives and throwing knives and also katanas. Because what you really need in a mall is a katana.
Oh, or pawn shops, of course, are going to have.
Yeah, all sorts of stuff.
All right. So, Felix, you're going to head into the mirror?
Yeah. Give that a go.
So as you climb inside the mirror, it's not like it was before. The space just seems like impossibly vast, whereas before, no matter how much space you were covering, it was a clear, short, straightforward path, even from Boston to Chicago. But there is a wooden crate sort of floating in the space just inside the mirror that you enter, and it has Sarah's name stamped on the side.
That's not necessarily comforting. Convenient, but not comforting. Okay. Well, I'll have a look at it.
All right. Bear with me for 1 sec.
Okay, so it's a severed head or something.
When you say you look at it, what you find that there's a label written in Russian attached to the box.
Can't read that, so all right.
I mean, I don't think there's much else that you can tell about the crate without opening it.
All right, I'll open it.
You're going to open it in the mirrored space?
Yes.
So inside you find all of the things that are on Sarah's shopping list. The swords, the ring, the garland, the salt, whatever else is required.
All right, so I'll step back through the mirror. Is the stuff still in the box?
Oh, yeah? Yep.
Yeah. Someone was expecting us, perhaps? Also point.
Did you get killed again?
No. And I'll point to the Russian words to you, Lena.
Killed again?
Yeah, I got shot, apparently. I don't really remember it.
I got you out of there. You didn't die.
Oh, I don't feel dead, but everything has been a bit foggy.
It's a long story.
Mm-hmm.
Does Yelena read the label?
Yeah. What does it say?
It says Stalingrad Tractor Factory 3, named for, not quite sure how to pronounce this, Dzerzhinsky.
Yeah, Dzerzhinsky.
Yes.
Oh, wait, that's... I recognize that. That's from reading about World War II. It was one of the big. It was the big tractor works in there produced most of the tanks for the Russian army.
Yeah, I mean, Yelena will also recognize that reference at the site of a big battle in World War II.
I honestly don't know what to think about this whatsoever.
Someone pulled it out of time for us.
We're being helped by communists? That kind of makes sense.
I don't know.
I mean, that's kind of their whole thing.
Do you recognize the name on it, Elena?
Yeah, this comes from a factory that produced tanks in the Second World War, but
named
I
after
guess-
Felix Dzerzhinsky, the revolutionary.
And I mean, I guess having swords makes some kind of sense, but the rest of
Garlands of
this,
flowers?
I don't know.
Well,
The fact that it just happens to be all the things you need for this ritual means that someone's ahead of us.
who isn't at
Or-
this point?
someone's helping us.
Yeah, well, someone who is either watching us this very moment, or knows, or who we are in the past of, or has seen an alternate version of us, or something.
Yeah, I mean, it could be us giving ourselves a leg up.
Abigail.
from
Maybe,
earlier.
yeah, maybe that's actually a cheery thought. Maybe it's us.
So basically,
Well,
what you're
we
saying
can
is
test it out next time.
And we went forward in time to identify what we would need. Then we went back in time to leave it for ourselves. So we have to remember to come back later in time to put this back.
Yeah, if we get through this whole thing, we may have to go pack up a box of this and leave it for ourselves.
Yeah. Well, you know what they say: be kind to yourself.
Nay, the good Lord helps those who help themselves. In some cases, literally.
You see, Elena, I told you that watching Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure would come in handy at some point.
You watched that thing?
I love that
Yeah.
movie. What are you talking about?
Ugh.
I have to have some
am-
interest besides the summoning demons, for Christ's sake. I don't just summon demons and like read weird rituals and things like that. I have a life,
And plus, what's not to love about Keanu Reeves?
right?
Didn't they talk to the devil in that one? Oh, that was a sequel.
That was the second one. And that
Yeah,
was death.
yeah, not the devil. Completely different. Huh?
All right.
We ourselves are on a truly bogus journey.
You know what? Maybe we just need to play Twister with the Yellow King, and that'll like put paid to this whole mess.
I wonder if the color yellow is replaced on the twister board with some other color.
Mm.
All right, so who are
Probably
we
a color that
summoning?
doesn't exist where we come from. Yeah. So, who are we summoning?
Person, wasn't it?
Whereas-
Person.
You know, these pastries are really very good.
So, spoiler: if you don't want to be around for what comes next, you should probably grab some pastries and go down to the lobby and hang out and have a drink or something. If you want to hang out and talk to demons, then by all means stay. You're very welcome. But I'm trying to traumatize as few of us as possible with this stuff.
Yeah, I kind of don't.
That ship has already sailed.
Well, no. I mean, yeah, but yes, I've seen Person before. I remember. I didn't particularly like seeing him or them, whatever they are. And I'm not sure that I want to do it again. Would you like to go down and get a sandwich or something, Felix?
Sure, I can show you the mannequins.
Felix, if they make a good Negroni here, could you maybe have them send a couple up?
Sure.
All right. So Yelena and Sarah are staying to perform the ritual.
Yeah.
All right. I'm just reminding myself how the ritual works mechanically.
I will sit on the bed and I will have my just gun sitting in my lap. Just be like, I don't know if this will work against demons, but shrug.
All right.
Yelena, you're talking about a Prince of Hell. It's not going to work against a Prince of Hell who commands, I'd have to look it up, 20 legions, 36 legions, something like that.
Be like, deter him, maybe?
Uh, 22 legions of demons.
Yep.
He is served and obeyed by. All right. Sarah, just give me a D100 roll.
Alrighty. That's 12.
Okay. What do you notice that feels different about doing the ritual here in the hotel than it felt when you did it back on Earth?
It feels like I'm trying to do the ritual while encased in amber, but like that liquid amber before it hardens.
Nice. And Yelena, how does it feel to watch Sarah perform a demon summoning ritual?
I think like this is something Yelena has like over the course of their relationship, I think has purposely like avoided thinking about or being part of, and just kind of didn't want to know that much, that part of Sarah's life. Just, I don't know, maybe it's her like Orthodox upbringing, even though she's not necessarily that religious. But now it feels like I think she's just really, really worried and feeling very protective.
All right. So you performed the ritual. Last time you did this, it was like a few hours later that Samagina called you. So your experience hasn't been that there's kind of an immediate response.
Right.
So I guess all you know is that you have performed the ritual to the best of your ability.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do after that?
I look at Yelena and say, now we wait. Coffee?
Yes.
So Felix and Tara, you head down to the lobby.
Yeah, I'll point out the marionette because like some of the people are on strings, like marionettes, and the strings come from the ceiling. So I'll make sure she sees that.
Yeah, I think you won't see any marionettes per se, but you'll see the tracks in the ceilings that they are sort of suspended or moved along. In the lobby, this most striking thing that you notice is that there's a man there who you recognize. It is Mark Rourke, who you first met in the pool hall above the McAllister building 20 years ago. He is dressed very differently. He is dressed almost like a caricature of a miner in a cartoon. Miner in the like carrying a pick and bundles of rope and a torch on his head kind of sense. He's talking to someone else in the lobby, someone you can't really see from where you are. And he makes a kind of gesture of like exasperation or like frustration and sort of storms out and heads down towards the basement as you come in.
Mr. Rourke.
He turns around. Who's asking?
Oh, my name's Tara Reinhardt. We met briefly in the McAllister building many years ago.
I think I'd remember if I'd met such a beautiful broad before.
I was pretty good looking back then, but I'll take the compliment anyway. We met it was in the pool hall in the McAllister building on the 4th floor that shouldn't have been there.
Honey, I think you got me mixed up with someone else.
Well, are you, if you don't mind my asking, are you going caving?
He sort of looks a bit shiftily left and right to see who might be listening.
Well, yeah, I'm going to approach. I'm not going to shout this across.
Yeah, sure.
Are you going caving?
Well, I sure hope so. I'm looking for a place called the Whisper Labyrinth. You ever hear of it?
Yeah, yes, we're looking for it too. That's why I was curious.
Well, you hardly look very well equipped. You're going to need some stuff, and he like gestures to his torch and his other gear.
I guess you're right, but do you have an idea as to where it might be found?
Well, look, I could help you out. We could work together,
I think. What do you think, Felix?
Yeah, why not?
Absolutely. Do you know where we can get supplies?
Yeah, I got some stuff in my room if you want to come up. Do you know where we're going to find the Whisper Labyrinth?
No, We've only just recently managed to find the hotel here. You know, the labyrinth, it's off the hotel somewhere, but exactly where. But, you know, we're happy to pitch in. It may, you know, maybe a task that, you know, one person would have trouble doing, so we can help you out.
I was wondering if it's below the laundry, like down in the basements.
I think it's down there somewhere.
Well, good then to have someone to watch your back, right?
Absolutely.
Let's go get some extra equipment, and we'll help you out.
Right. So he'll take you up to his room. Yeah, and inside, you know, you see he does have just like mounds of this sort of stuff, like helmets and rope and torches and picks and whatever else. And he'll like size you up for them. He'll like, you know, making sure that it's a color that matches your complexion and, you know, it's going to look good, all that sort of thing. I assume that you ask for enough stuff for Sarah and Elena as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he like sort of like reaches out to offer it to you, and he says, "I can trust you guys, right? You're not gonna run off with this stuff without me, are you?"
No.
No, we wouldn't do that.
We're both looking for the same place.
Yeah, exactly.
Much better chance of finding it together than we do of finding it separately.
All right. Well, good. Well, you wanna go look now? You wanna get a drink?
Let's see what we can find now. We have some time. We have a little time to kill.
All right. So you head. He'll, you know, to the extent that you let him lead the way, he'll head you down into the basements and start leading you down beneath the laundry. And we'll come back to you in a minute. So, I'm sorry, Felix, a question. Did you arrange for some Negronis to be sent up for Sarah and you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he forgot the name of the drink, so he just ordered a shit ton of spirits and sent it up.
No.
We just
Negronis. I remember Negronis. Yeah. So we ask the room service to send up a.
Yeah. All right.
They say, if nobody answers the door, just knock and leave it on the, you know, on the floor outside.
All right. So Sarah and Elena, some Negronis and possibly an assortment of unrelated spirits arrive at your door. Not too much later than that, there's another knock, and sort of a man's voice calls out, you know, you called?
Yes. Please, come in.
So the door opens and you recognize the same person that you saw 20 years ago, visibly older in the same way that you're both visibly older. You know, his dreadlocks are graying now. He's probably wearing the same or similar pants, like just some old tattered fatigues. He still has a large python wrapped around his shoulders. He comes in and just sort of like sprawls out in one of the chairs and looks at you a bit expectantly. He just shrugs and takes it and starts to drink.
I feel like it would be rude not to offer you refreshments after you've come what feels like a significant distance.
I am a little lost, I confess. What do you want?
We spoke many years ago, and you offered me counsel at the time that seemed confusing, and that I have since come to understand much better. I'll look over at Elena and say, you know, we only have one question. So what question should it be?
I don't know what you're talking about. We can chat.
Well, we can chat. But at the same time, the rules are that you can only answer one question, correct?
I don't know who you've been talking to. That's not how I do it.
I want to
Alright.
order you everything on the room service menu right now.
I haven't had a good feed in a while. That would be nice.
And I will literally pick up the phone and call room service and say, please send 3 of everything on the menu. Yes, that's correct. Bill it to Felix.
Well, as you say that, the person answering the phone will say, "Oh, your account has already been paid."
Very well.
And,
Okay.
um,
In the meantime, I'm just gonna hand him my Negroni. Like, here, I haven't taken a drink yet.
he'll take it. He'll drink it pretty quickly.
So, the last time we spoke, I asked you about the night floors and a lot of things that I didn't understand, and you explained them in a way that seemed illogical, saying we were already there, we were on the night floors as we spoke, even though we were in the basement of the McAllister building. Now we're in a place that seems impossible, and doing things that seem more or less impossible. For example, Felix can climb through mirrors now. I don't understand it, but it's strange. And Yelena here is a crack shot, and I don't even know what Tara can do. But we're looking for the Whisper Labyrinth. We're trying to find Abigail Wright, and we are trying to get out of what I can only assume is Carcosa.
Abigail's at the masquerade, so if you head through the Whisper Labyrinth, you'll find her.
Right? Where can we find the Whisper Labyrinth?
It's down through the basements here. The entrance looks like a bookstore.
A bookstore in a basement. Okay, that ought to be easy to find, or at least easy to recognize. I don't suppose you could tell us how to work our way through the labyrinth, could you?
Well, last time I saw you, I think I told you you were already at the masquerade, so whatever you do, you're going to find your way through the labyrinth to get there. You just have to keep going.
The only way
We're
through.
working with inevitability then.
You could put it like that, sure.
Can you explain what happened to Felix? Because Yelena and I saw him shot and killed, and yet he appears to be perfectly fine and alive wherever we are here.
Well, Felix is I don't even know where to start. Do you know who the Phantom of Truth is?
Enlighten us, please.
Phantom of Truth is a powerful figure in the King in Yellow's court. The Phantom has taken an interest in Felix personally, wants to make sure that Felix is there at the masquerade. The Phantom wants Felix on the King's throne. The King is old and dying. Soon someone else will take that place.
So the Phantom Truth wants that to be the king, wants that to be Felix.
Listen, there's no accounting for taste.
I look at Yelena and say, I'm glad I'm not alone on that.
I'll be like, and what does Casilda and what's the other one's name?
Camilla.
Camilla. And who do they want on the throne?
They've chosen one of the Castaignaires.
Wait, Castaigne.
You met him in the night. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. And what relation do they have to him again?
Well, I mean, I don't know how many greats you'd have to put in front of it, but he's descended from them. And it's his granddaughter they want to put on the throne.
Who's his granddaughter? Abigail?
Her name's Ariella.
So this
See.
the masquerade is where everything finally gets decided, isn't it?
Yeah, that's one way to put it.
We're going to need guns, aren't we?
Guns are not going to help you where you're going.
So what would help us? Because from what you're saying, it sounds as though there may be, I mean, admittedly, it's been a long time since I read up on any sort of successions, but they often seem to turn bloody.
I don't know what to tell you. I don't think anything's going to help you at this point.
So, how does the King in Yellow actually end? I'm not asking this to person, but just
So
with Yelena's knowledge.
The play. So it
Yeah.
ends without resolution at the point of a great conflict between the factions.
All right. I'll sort of look at I'll look at Sarah and be like, if if the play is somehow a record of this whole thing, then it has no resolution at the end. Whatever it is going to be not predetermined, it seems. Maybe that means that we have a way to influence it, or to not be dead by the end of it.
So it's what did they call it in Doctor Who? An inflection point or something like that? Like one of those points in history where things are in flux and they're malleable.
I might pause here and go back to Felix and Tara, and then we'll pick
Sure.
up with your conversation after. So Felix and Tara, Mark leads you down to a room that he calls the Arboretum. It is the basement beneath the laundry. Definitely not as big as the laundry, but quite a large room. It is filled with vibrant and overgrown shrubbery and wild plants, even though there's obviously no natural light that could get down here. The ceiling is made of sort of curved metal ribs intercut with frosted glass. It looks like there's sort of sand filling the space above it, and similar sort of sand around the plants. And Mark will say, "I'm sure the entrance to the Whisper Labyrinth is in here somewhere." And he sort of like reaches for a handful of sand and starts sort of like brushing it away and sort of digging through it as if he thinks he's going to tunnel down into something else.
I'm going to put on my goggles with the different lenses and just have a good look around.
We'll make an alertness roll.
And I'm going to do the same, but without the goggles. I'm just going to examine the environment.
Nah, failed by about 20.
All right. An alertness roll as well for Tara.
Sure.
I just take some photos of everything on my phone.
Yes, I made it.
All right. Tara, the first thing that you notice is that it's not sand. It's a huge pile of human teeth. Some of them broken up into smaller pieces, but some of them intact. There must be, thousands or millions of teeth packed in around here.
I show this to Felix.
Wait, shit. Why teeth? Shit. Shit. What the hell? What?
Oh, this is what sets you off, Felix?
What? He'll step back and, shit. What? Oh, wow.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize you'd have such a reaction. So, what does that mean? We've got a jungle here inside a what looks for all the world like a greenhouse, except it can't possibly be.
Well, there's no light in here, and I think he'll keep putting his hand over his mouth, like.
It's not your tea, Felix. I hope. There must be more to this place. I can't believe that we're just, we're digging down through this awful stratum.
There's definitely also, sorry, I should have said there's also a staircase that leads further down.
Mr. Rourke?
Huh?
Yeah. Have you been down there? Or?
Have you considered that it might be further down over there?
No, I'm pretty sure it's in here.
Okay.
You want to help me?
I'll help you some, but if we don't hit pay dirt soon, I think we're going to want to try another route.
All right.
Yeah, we'll give it a go for a bit, see how we go.
I mean, even a small amount of digging is going to convince you that this guy just has no idea what's up. That there's no reason to think there's an entrance in here in particular.
Yeah. Mr. Rourke, we're going to go get our friends who are good at helping with this sort of thing and come back.
Oh, great. Yeah, that sounds great.
Right.
Slow work.
Yeah. So hold tight. I think we better go up and see how Elena and Sarah are getting along.
Yeah, sounds good. But he's still trying to avoid the teeth. Kind of walking behind Tara.
I mean, can't avoid them. We're walking on them until we hit the staircase.
All right, I'll see you later.
Right.
All right, so back with Sarah and Yelena, still talking with Passan. What do you say?
So basically what you can tell us is that you've already told us where to find the Whisper Labyrinth. However, wherever we go in the Whisper Labyrinth, we are going to wind up at the Masquerade.
Well, that's not really right. What I'm saying is that you will find the right way. It's not that there's no wrong way. It's just that the way you go will be the right way.
Okay.
Okay.
And once we get to the Masquerade, things are unwritten.
Well, I didn't say that. That was your friend's idea.
Okay. So what happens at the Masquerade?
I guess that's hard for me to say. The Phantom of Truth and Camilla and Casilda both hoped that a new monarch will be crowned. Very likely the king will pass. There's something else too that you should know about.
Please tell us.
Who do you think wrote The King in Yellow?
At this point, I'm assuming someone who has been through what we have and wrote down their journey up to that point. And somehow it found its way back to our reality. And, time being non-linear, it shows up here and there.
You're on the right track, but not quite. Nobody has written the play yet. Your role, the four of you, part of what you have to do is take the author's bottle to the Masquerade, and whoever you give it to will be the author.
Look at Yelena and say, this shit makes my head hurt.
Okay, so in addition to finding our own bottles, we also have to have the author's bottle. Although what it sounds like is that we will just find them anyway.
I don't know about finding your own bottles. That could be harder. Nobody in Carcosa cares if you find your own bottles.
What would finding our own bottles do for us, or to us?
Yeah, I wouldn't say for. You would learn the great secret of your life, whatever it is. Sometimes humans survive that.
Well, that's certainly a comforting thought.
I think at this point, Felix and Tara arrive back at the room. Person will give a little bit of a dip of his head or almost a bow towards Felix as he comes in.
Hi. I think we met before, long time ago.
I don't have such a good memory.
It's
Anyway,
the McAllister.
looks like you're enjoying the food.
It's better than what I'm used to.
It's not too bad here. I'll help myself to a croissant.
Is it made of teeth?
Jeez, I'm not.
Felix, Tara, do you have any questions you'd like to ask? Our guest is being very, very helpful, so you don't need to limit it to just one.
I mean, I am going to have to get back pretty soon.
I can order more food.
Brandon, you're muted.
I presume you asked where the Whispering Cavern was?
Oh, yes. That was one of the first things.
Right.
Did we leave this crate for us?
Did I leave a crate for you?
No, did we leave this crate for us?
Oh, no. No, you didn't.
Okay.
Great.
Well,
There's one thing we don't have to worry about. It'll just show up. Fantastic.
Someone else does it. All right, sweet.
Well, somebody has a vested interest in getting you, Felix, to...
How can we protect ourselves?
Protect yourselves from what?
From anyone or anything that wants to destroy.
Yeah, the harsher parts of this journey.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see that you have armor and weapons. It's not going to help you once you get to the masquerade, but it might help with some of the dangers of the labyrinth itself.
Fair. Okay. Is there anything that will help with the masquerade? No, are we entirely on our own there?
There are some people in Carcosa who want to help you with the masquerade.
And by that, you also mean there's some people that don't want to help us.
Well, of course.
Sure.
So the king is dying.
That's true.
And who's going to be the next king?
Well, that remains to be seen. I was telling your friends, some people want to put a woman named Ariella Castaigne on the throne. But some other people, powerful people, have decided that Felix is going to be the next king.
Felix?
Yes.
This
Felix.
Our Felix?
This Felix right here. I was trying to leave that detail out because I didn't want to freak him out, but, you know, cats, bags, out of them.
He's just kind of looking at his croissant and then at the others and, what?
So that's who's been helping us.
I don't know that I would say that anyone's been helping you.
Somebody's definitely been helping us. Or somebody's been lending Felix power. Because
it's true. The Phantom of Truth bestowed a gift on each of you to help you on the way.
Sure, I don't know what mine is.
Like, I don't think anybody is helping us per se. Just that.
Well, if
they're helping themselves, it's convenient.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, they want if they want Felix to be the king, then we have a reason to help us get to the masquerade.
Well, they have a reason to help us get Felix to the masquerade.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
think they really care about us after that point.
Maybe not.
Just for alternatives, is there a way to make the king better, so there doesn't have to be a replacement?
And if there is that a desirable outcome?
Well, some of these questions are getting a little bit metaphysical for me.
Well, let me ask the
All right,
question
how about-
I actually care the most about. What will cause Carcosa to dissociate itself from our home? Right now, Carcosa is invading our own reality and it's going to subsume it. What will reverse that, if anything?
I mean, I don't want to tell you something that's going to upset you after you've been so kind and generous with your room service orders.
I would rather have the bad news now, so I know what our best case scenario is.
Well, I told you that your role here, part of your destiny, if you want to call it that, is to take a bottle to the party, bestow it on an author, and let that person produce the play. And I'm sure you've heard before that it's the play itself that produces your world, that everything comes from the play, issues forth from it.
Right.
So if you destroy the bottle at the party, no one will write the play, and your world will not issue forth from it, and everything will cease to exist.
What about Carcosa? Will that not continue to exist?
Nothing.
But if they write the play, is there something that will put things back to some semblance of the way they were? I understand that if they don't write the play, nothing, then our world won't exist. But is there some outcome that will make it so that Carcosa and our world exist, but they are separated the way they were before?
Nothing that I know of.
Okay.
So Carcosa will continue to exist in our world no matter what we do, or to the best of your knowledge.
Right. He doesn't know.
Yeah, but remember, Abigail said everything else is lies and divergent, and that. No offense.
Well, no, I mean, doesn't equal there isn't a way. But I had to ask the question.
Yeah.
So once we go to the masquerade and resolve the throne issue, is there any way for us to go to what we think of as home and not be pursued by, for example, the police, who think we're all escapees from a psychiatric facility?
I mean, even if there was a way to defeat the king and the court of Carcosa, to detach the alien city from your world, to put things back the way they were, you would still be fugitives. The organization that you work for would still have decided that you were liabilities and want you all incarcerated or dead.
Right.
There's no going home now.
Didn't really want to work for them anymore anyway.
Yeah.
Bastards.
I guess
I haven't worked for them for 20 odd years until this shit came up.
No, nor I. I have one more question, I guess. Is Abigail Wright our friend? Is she or our ally in this? Is she steering us right?
Again, these are difficult questions to answer. Abigail Wright thinks she has your best interests at heart. She believes that she's helping you. You are the ones with the crazy ideas about trying to mess with how everything is supposed to happen. And if you decide to do that, then I don't know that you have any friends.
Okay, well, that's a good enough answer.
You know, I do take some comfort in the fact that we are speaking with an entity that has all the secret knowledge of the world at their disposal, and We're asking really hard questions. That says a lot, doesn't it?
Well, this says a lot about the situation.
I definitely wouldn't say I have all the secret knowledge of the world. I've just, picked up a few things here or there.
It's like we've graduated high school or something.
I guess maybe had been around for as long, you'd have a lot of knowledge too, Sarah.
Look, you've been really helpful. Can I make you? Can I pack some of this food up for you to go so you can take it with you on your journey wherever?
He kind of gestures to the pockets of these camo pants and shows that he's already stuffed them pretty generously with food to take away. It's all right. It was great meeting you all. I'm sorry that this has all happened to you. Well, I don't suppose I'll see you again. Good luck.
Could I give you a hug? I mean, you've helped us out so much. I mean, it's just something that us humans do.
Yeah, he'll walk over and give you a hug, and
I'll pat the snake on the head.
He kind of makes faces at the rest of you behind Sarah as they embrace that suggests that he thinks that she's completely crazy.
Yeah, I could give a little nod to that.
All right, and we're past the hour now, so let's take our break here. We'll make it 10 minutes if that's good for everyone.
Works for me.
So Blake, I actually did sign up for a couple of games from that thing that you sent me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Low and alright, or that's cool.
I thought it was kind of ironic that you found out before me. You live in Australia and I live in this city.
Yeah. We know a lady that lives in that area, and she's trying to put the word out. So, we'll pass that on. And
cool.
I know another guy that lives in Kamloops. I think it's the next state over.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But yes, it's a small world in an odd way.
Yeah, definitely.
Pocket, are you back?
Sorry about that. Yes, I am back.
Right. Cool. So can you all increase your unnatural skill by 3% after your conversation with Person? And then tell me what you're going to do.
Hi, we brought equipment to for the Whispering Cavern. No idea if we'll need it, but it was given to us.
Apparently, there's some sort of. Oh, yeah, given.
I ran into someone from the McAllister building, a fellow named Rourke that I met in the pool hall. He didn't recognize me.
Yeah, maybe we haven't met him yet, but yeah, he was trying to dig a way out of the...
Yeah, he seems to be trying to dig his way down to the Whispering Caverns from the floor underneath the laundry, which seems like an unlikely way to get there. But there's another staircase that goes further down.
So he just gave you this equipment?
He did. He has a lot more.
We said we'd help him, so...
Yeah, we offered to assist him. And we did
assist him in doing what?
Finding the Whispering Caverns. That's what he's looking for.
Well, I guess we better go fetch him then.
He's probably still down there digging. So if you're done here, maybe we can go down and talk to him.
Well, we're going into a labyrinth, so we should probably get food, or at least take food with us.
We should take food with us. If nothing else, the headlamps and such should be helpful.
Well, Person basically told us that whichever way we go will be the right way.
Oh, it's one of those things, is it?
He told us we wind up in the right place eventually.
Because we already have, as it were.
Or something.
Yeah. Isn't causality fun?
Well, we might end up in the right place, but don't we have to pick something up there in the Whispering Caverns?
Apparently we're supposed to find the author's bottle. If we find our own bottles, we may or may not survive the experience of learning the secret truth of our lives. He said most people don't. Or rather, I believe he said some people survive it. So, implication.
If we have to find, so even if it's guaranteed that we make it through, it's not guaranteed necessarily we find the author's bottle, is it? And if we don't find the author's bottle, then nobody writes the king in yellow. And if nobody writes the king in yellow, then our world never exists.
Then nothing exists. Apparently nothing exists.
So I guess we'd better find it.
Well,
besides which, we need to, get Felix in shape to sit on the throne.
Well, let's hold on for a second here. Would it really be such a bad thing if all these worlds never existed?
Yeah.
Why? I think that would include us, our lives, our friends,
It absolutely would. But think about it. How much time have we spent struggling? How much time have we spent miserable, in fear, in terror, in pain?
But it's not just about us. It's all those moments of joy as well.
Even if Christian and Millie and Oliver and Juliet never see me again, I want them to have a life, very much.
Having never existed is not the same as dying.
No, but I want them to have a life. I want them to exist. I want them to have. I don't want never to have known them. I had a good life. I want that still to exist, even if I'm not there to appreciate it.
And in the meantime, if they go on existing, if we do this and the Earth we know carries on existing, we're all fugitives. We're all armed. We're all thought to be horrible people who have done terrible things. Your daughters will not remember you as they may have moments of remembering you as a loving mother, but it's more likely that they'll remember you as whatever the news paints you as, which right now is an escaped patient from a psychiatric facility responsible for horrible murders.
Well, unless reality twists their memories, they'll know that that's not true, even if everyone else believes it. And I don't know whether it will or won't, but I want them to have a chance. I want them to have a chance at a life, even if they hate me, Sarah. Even if they think I'm an awful person who did terrible things and went insane, I want them to have some chance at a life. Because I love them.
How old are your daughters?
They're 12 and 17.
Okay, so I want you to think about what the 12-year-old's life is going to be like at school, as everyone bullies and teases her about her mother, who went apeshit, who cracked, who sliced people to pieces, and so on and so forth.
You're not going to persuade me that it's better that she not exist.
Well, how about the fact that Person basically insinuated that everything has to happen as it happens, and that nothing we do will prevent Carcosa from subsuming Earth. And that is the world that they will live in. And that is inevitable.
This is maybe too, but I guess, look, there's still a chance. Okay. I mean, I am sure that if they want to stop living, that they can find any of several ways to get killed. I'm not going to make that decision for them.
But we're not talking about killing.
No.
We're talking about nullification, which is something radically different.
But we're talking about my deciding that my family never existed for them. I'm not doing that.
Actually, Tara, we're talking about deciding that two worlds that we are aware of should never have existed.
Yes.
It's well beyond the scope of just your family. It's just that you're focused on.
I know that. but they are, and I do care about other people than my family, frankly. But even if it were just them, I would want them to exist. How much more to give two whole worlds a chance to exist?
But it won't be two whole worlds.
Or one whole world with the characteristics of two worlds, or something.
I have to say I'm with Tara on this one. I would rather they have a chance, even if it's a slim one. Something can work. A chance for joy, a chance for hope, a chance for survival, better than just nothing.
I mean,
Felix,
Carcosa coming was unwelcome, but we don't know. We don't know what life's going to end up being like. For
Felix, did your kids ever wake you up?
I don't have
out
kids.
Of fear? Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
No, but I mean, I woke up in prison. I had plenty of fear in my life, but it's still life. It's still a choice. It's still a chance to change and do something.
Now look over at Elaine and say, "Listen, I'm just saying that maybe living for the sake of living isn't really living. Just having a pulse and a heartbeat isn't enough. That having the mere chance of something better happening when the odds are absolutely in favor of something worse happening are..."
I'll look at Sarah and say, you don't have to convince me. There's a difference between being alive and living.
I'm asking you to think that if we do this, if we hand the author's bottle to someone instead of destroying it, consider that we are condemning at least one world to whatever reality follows.
Yeah.
And by all accounts, it will not be an especially good one.
I agree. If it's inevitable that Carcosa takes over Earth, then I would rather it never exist than for that to be the inevitability.
But what if you give the bottle to me and I'm king? I can do everything I can to make it as Earth friendly or Earth hopeful as possible.
Or one of the rest.
That assumes that you have any choice in what gets written.
Again, causality.
It has felt like we have some influence on this story. I don't think we've just been playing a script.
I think there's a possibility there. The fact that somebody has to write the King in Yellow doesn't assert that the King in Yellow has to look exactly like it does.
Well, then this is my proposition for everybody. We have every chance to destroy the bottle before we hand it off to someone. If we discover that there is some way to change what happens, then we do that. If we discover that everything is an inevitability and nothing can change what has already occurred, then we destroy it.
Also, we already know that regardless of what happens, even if we fix everything, we can't go back. There is nothing left for us. We will be inmates for the remainder of our lives.
Then we don't go back.
Well, my suggestion was if we put Felix on the throne, Tara, you are most vested in the world that we have left.
Yes.
You have a family. You have people that you care about, people you worry about. Yelena and I never had kids. Felix didn't have kids. I mean, as far as Elena and I go, I mean, speaking only for myself, I really don't have a reason to go back. I'm not leaving anything behind besides a bunch of research that who knows if it even works anymore. Tara, I think you should be the one to write the book if it comes down to it and we decide that there's some way to change things for the better.
I agree. Sometimes in a fire, you can't save everyone. And what they teach you is that you save one person. And then if you get a chance, you save one more person. And you keep on doing that until either there's nobody else to save or the fire is too hot to go back into. And so I'm willing to do that. If I save one person, that'll be enough. If one
on the
person,
condition that we identify a way it can change. If everything's going to play out exactly as it has already,
I don't think we know the answer to that, Sarah, and I don't think we will know the answer to that. So don't be too ready. That's all I'm saying. Don't be too ready to cash it in. Sometimes, anyway, it starts with us going down to the Whispering Caverns, right? And we also don't know if Felix takes the throne, we also don't know what that means. Do we?
I hope it's better than one of them paper hats and Burger Kings. They don't look good.
Well, those are all echoes, I think.
So whatever the platonic form of paper hat is, what you will wear.
Oh, I expect it'll be a real throne and a real crown, from what everybody's saying. But what it means, I mean, is the Yellow King just a reflection of reality, or does the Yellow King actually control? We don't know. But I expect we'll find out. Maybe Abigail can tell us. So, shall we go?
I look longingly at the food cart and say, we might as well.
Here, just stuff a bunch of it in this bag.
Yeah, grab a croissant to munch on the way.
No. I mean, let's just take as much as we can take.
I don't suppose they could give us a canteen of Negronis to take with us. You were pretty good.
Will it taste the same coming out of a canteen than it does out of a glass?
It's alcohol. Do we care?
Let's go.
For what it's worth, Sarah, I'll live in whatever fucked up meta reality we end up in with you.
There you go.
And I appreciate that. I'm just asking whether that's the best decision. Because you know that the last 20-odd years have been the happiest I've ever been.
Well, don't you want them to have been? It ain't all just about the future.
When I think about everything that has happened, not just to us, but to everyone around the world, I wonder.
All right.
Can't regret what never existed, so let's get on.
Gonna frame ahead here to you arriving back down at the garden where Mark Rourke doesn't notice you come in as he's still busy digging away at the teeth. There are stairs leading down from here. What do you do?
I'll nudge Yelena and say, teeth.
Like we're looking for a bookshop, apparently.
A bookshop. Hey, Mr. Rourke.
You come back.
Yeah, of course we did. We said we would. We have an idea that we might have to go further down. Our friends tell us we're looking for another entrance, not digging through the ground here.
You sure?
That's what they say.
We've got it on some good authority.
Well, All right.
Look, if
I
we're
guess I
wrong,
can't turn down such attractive company.
if we're wrong, you can come right back up here and resume.
Sure.
Well, that's true. He dusts his hands off. All right, lead the way.
Yeah. See, the teeth crunch under our feet as we walk over to the.
You get to the staircase that leads down. The next basement that you come to is a smaller room. The garden was the laundry was huge. The garden was large. This is more like a normal sized room. There's a bathtub on the floor filled with water. There's a man sitting by the bathtub, and he seems to be drowning someone in the bath as you come in. He looks up at you, a little bit sad, but doesn't stop what he's doing. Certainly Sarah and Yelena, and maybe the others also, are going to recognize Asa Darabondi.
I'm going to use my judo and try and stop him, chuck him to the floor.
He's not going to put up much of a fight, so yeah, you're able to pretty easily jerk him away.
Was he drowning?
Person seems to be dressed in about 1940s attire. He has successfully drowned them. He was still holding the person underwater when you arrived, but they're already dead.
I'll try to. I'll give him first aid anyway, even if it's futile.
You'll see on looking at the body that it appears to have been dead for some time, days or weeks.
Oh, okay.
And Darabondi will sort of sputter a little bit and say, "I just got to do my job. Let me get back to it."
He's already dead, and he has been for some time.
Well, there'll be another one soon then.
Who? Why are you doing this?
There's a guy named the Phantom, and he tells me who to kill, and I have to kill them. That's all. If I do it enough, he says he'll put me in the throne, which is where I'm supposed to be.
I think he might be lying too.
Well, as the Phantom of Truth, I don't think he's lying.
People can call themselves anything.
I can call myself Alice.
And so,
did you say this is the Queen of Hearts? That doesn't make it so, does it?
I don't know, Alice.
Why are you messing with me?
We're not actually, but do you just have? Is the bathtub here just so you can drown people in it? Or did you find it and fill it with water?
This is just the back room of my studio.
Oh.
It's the bathroom.
In the McAllister?
I don't know about McAllister.
Okay.
And lean and say, Tara, he hasn't built that building yet.
Oh. Got you.
This is the 1940s.
Are there any doors in this room?
There's some more stairs that lead down.
Let's see. Well, I guess leave you to your important work unless somebody has an idea.
I'll look at Sarah.
Say, would you be so kind? I mean, you can see from the expression of my face that I'm saying put a bullet in his head.
Yeah, I think we had the same thought.
Yeah, I'll sort of whisper, wasn't this a serial killer?
How far? I wonder how far gone is
somebody, and I whisper back to Felix. It's someone who hears anyone talking to them and telling them to kill people is a serial killer. Whether or not anything else is true.
I will. Yep. I will pull out my gun and I will shoot him.
I'm looking away.
All right. Yelena, make a resilience check.
Let's see, what's my current resilience?
Hey, made it.
I did make it.
All right. So just one point of resilience loss, and mark one of your boxes for loss from violence.
All right.
All right. Asa Darabondi is lying dead on the floor of the room in front of you. You all know that he disappeared mysteriously during around the 1940s. I guess you now know that that's because Yelena killed him.
Look around the room. Is he like working on anything, or has he got like a journal or something like we could grab? I guess there might be some insight there.
No, I don't think there really is anything in here. It has almost a dreamlike quality of being, this space that would never really exist. That's just been
so this might be a memory or
town.
something, or yeah. Okay.
Let's get out of here.
I'll just pat Yelena on the shoulder and say, if you didn't, I was going to.
Sorry, what did Felix say? I missed it.
You pat Yelena on the shoulder and just say, if you didn't, I was going to do it.
I will reach down and make sure his eyes are closed. Put a couple of coins on him to make sure they stay that way.
So you head down again, this time onto a large room once more, a ballroom, which, I mean, Felix, you'd heard there was a ballroom down here. You talked to the front desk clerk about it. There are hundreds of marionettes dangling from the ceiling in here. Lots of them sort of tangled up together. They're not moving or anything. The marionettes look very, like, kind of uncanny valley, like almost people. They don't look obviously like puppets, apart from the fact that they're suspended from these tracks. They look like people, but just a bit off somehow that you can't quite place. Some of them are naked. Some of them are wearing things like bellhop uniforms, different kinds of outfits and things like that. Some of them have gas masks and shotguns.
Great. Just briefly, how did Rourke, whatever his name is, the other guy, the minor guy, react to us shooting the serial killer?
He kind of shrugged and looked the other way. Probably said something like, well, none of my business.
I'd say we've been looking for this dangerous man for some time.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I've been looking for some dangerous men too.
I'm just going to take my axe out and rest against my shoulder.
So the stairs down are at the far end of the ballroom.
All right. Let's make our way through these things, whatever they are.
Yelena, would you please... The static protocol marionettes are freaking me out. I know that if they are somewhat more than just a marionette, that whatever ability you found will address that.
Like, are they... Can we tell if they're, like, alive or not?
They're just marionettes. What do you mean?
I'll be like... I'll just say... I'll keep my eye out, and if one of them... Any of them move...
We didn't keep an eye out. Well, we admittedly were running for our lives, but you remember what happened to Felix last time we ran into anybody dressed up like static protocol agents?
Yep. I'll be like, look, it's getting a little too easy to answer with a bullet. You understand?
I absolutely understand, but also static protocol. I mean, I gestured to my shotgun. It's like, this thing doesn't do precision damage. I pull the trigger on this thing, and it's if these marionettes are in any way animate or sentient, this is going to do a lot of damage.
Let's get out of here, please.
Yeah, can we make our way through?
All right.
I want to make an awareness check.
Sure. Is there anything in particular that you're trying to notice or hoping to notice?
If these marionettes are actually marionettes, or if these are wax figures, or if this is like the House of Wax, where we're talking about people who have been somehow converted to marionettes.
Yeah, go ahead and make a alertness roll.
That is 60 over 38, I believe. Yeah.
You can't quite. I mean, it's clear that they're not what you would normally think of as marionettes, but what they actually are is not clear to you.
Okay. Could I make a resilience roll just because this is really creeping me out?
Yeah, if it's creeping you out, please. For 1/1d4.
Okay, 39. That's under my resilience. So I'll roll 1d4 for resilience loss.
Or just one if you made it.
Yeah, just one.
Okay, well, just one then. So yeah, that takes me down to 74.
All right, I think that's probably resilience loss for helplessness. So mark one of the boxes for that. Because they're not outright unnatural. They haven't done anything outright unnatural so far. All right. So you head down another flight of stairs, and you see the entrance to a small, what looks like a small secondhand bookshop. There's an elderly man standing just outside the door, looking a bit lost and confused, and wearing, I mean, I guess you would say, like, whoever has a reasonable history, like history of 40 or higher, probably recognizes the garb as medieval. He looks towards the four of you and says something in, it sounds like French. Do any of you speak French?
Elena does, I think. Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so anyone who speaks French is going to recognize that he's speaking some sort of obsolete or archaic dialect of French, but you can make a French check to see if you can communicate with him.
That's a pass for me.
Wow, that's great. Okay, so yeah, you understand him okay. He is speaking, old French. And he asks you if you know the way back to his house.
I will attempt to ask him where he lives.
He says that he lives in a place called the Mansion of Doors, and he describes the part of rural France that it's in.
I'll just say I'm sorry, friend, but I don't know where that is.
All right, I think he'll wander off then. He'll start climbing up the stairs.
I'll stop him and say, "You're welcome to come with us, though."
Yelena, do you translate?
Yeah.
Where are you going?
To the ball.
We're going to a masquerade, but the journey there may be dangerous.
But I can tell you that the Mansion of Doors is not back that way. We come from there.
That's just an old fancy way of saying a hotel.
I think, hang on, I'm just going to check something. Bear with me for a sec.
Maybe he's talking about the Night Forest.
I would think so.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sorry, never mind. So yeah, he just says, "Oh no, thank you, no masquerade for me. I've got to get home."
Well, if you go up that way, tell him if he goes up that way, several flights, he may get to a place where someone can direct him.
I will.
It's a big open that I described the hotel lobby.
Yeah.
Big
I'm going to whisper to Sarah. I'm going to whisper to Sarah. Maybe he's one of the characters in the play, not one of the actors.
Maybe so. I'm actually going to write him a note.
What will the note say?
The note says, it just says, for the hotel staff. This fellow is very lost. Help him if you can. Much appreciated. And I'm going to say,
I will let him know that.
take this and give them, and hopefully someone will help you.
You guys are so helpful to everyone. Can we get on with it?
Yes.
Hey, we're helping you too.
Well, I'm helping you too. Don't forget it.
Hey, you gave us some gear. We're the ones who found the entrance.
Well, all I see is a bookshop.
Well, let's then we better go in there then, shall we?
All right. So you head inside, and you see inside, the front desk of a sort of cramped and musty little bookshop. There are densely packed aisles that sort of wind deep into the half light. There's a tall, very finely dressed North African man standing behind the desk, smoking a cigarette. He says, well, welcome to the bookshop. I hope that you'll find some things here that that interest you.
Would you have a copy of The King in Yellow?
Oh, certainly. Just down that way. And he sort of gestures towards the aisle. And Mark Rourke at this point is going to point excitedly at one of the shelves and yell, "Look!" And you see that amongst the books here and there are bottles sitting on the shelf, and he rushes towards the bottle. He picks it up. He sort of examines it. Says, "We're here!" And darts off down one of the passageways without waiting for you, screaming with excitement as he finds bottle after bottle.
Well, we did what we said we'd do for him.
Yeah. So now we have to find the author's bottle.
And maybe our own if we want to know the secret truth of our lives. But,
you first.
Maybe not if you don't want to know.
I definitely don't want to know.
I mean, Person said you might survive it, so that's something. That's as you keep saying, that's a chance, right?
Yeah.
I think
Elena, what do you
does
think the
want to know.
author's bottle is?
He didn't say what condition you might be in if you survived it, though. So
I think Elena does want to know, but isn't going to say anything to anyone about it.
All right. Well, let's head down. Let's head down where we were directed, and see if we find any interesting bottles.
So the way that the shopkeeper gestured is not the same way that Mark Rourke ran off.
Right.
There's various sort of passageways amongst the books. But if you head the way the proprietor gestured, at least at this point, there's still enough light to navigate here. It looks like there are windows behind some of the shelves that are letting in light. Obviously, that's impossible since you're many levels below the hotel and there can't be any light outside. Tell me how you're navigating. Well, sorry, let me talk just a little bit about how this is going to work. So there's some procedural generation stuff happening here. So some random rolls to generate the parts of the labyrinth that you're passing through. And I'm going to get you each in turn to make rolls to navigate. And basically, your rolls are going to determine, success or failure isn't so much going to stymie or improve your progress as it is going to decide which of the encounter tables I'm rolling on as you proceed. Who wants to take the lead first, and what would they roll to navigate?
I'll go first, and I think what I'm rolling to navigate is navigate.
Okay, that is an excellent choice. I did not know there was a navigate skill.
There's a navigate skill, and I have it because sometimes you have to get around in buildings where you can't. You've got no. I mean, the classic nightmare scenario is a warehouse on fire, right? Where there's no windows and no landmarks inside that you can count on.
Yeah.
And so you have to be able to find your way, even if you are disoriented. So
absolutely. All right, we'll go ahead and roll.
All right. Yes, I made it.
Okay. So, like the shelves, as you progress, you are going to see like shelves like you'd expect to see in a bookshop, even though the passages are, or the space between the shelves is maybe a little narrower than you'd expect it to be. The passages themselves a bit longer and a bit a bit more winding. The light very dim.
I'll flick on my headlamp.
And again, you will see bottles here and there interspersed amongst the books. If you look at them closely, you'll see that there is a name on each bottle. Some of them in English, but many of them clearly in other languages or other scripts.
Right.
After you've traveled for some time, the shelves sort of open up into a larger room. Still lined with shelves, but in the middle of the room is a huge machine made of gears and clockwork and pipes and parts that seem almost organic. Tara and Yelena, it's clear to you that this was designed by the same, like it's the same sort of design as the machine you saw at Barbas's house that was producing copies of The King in Yellow. Not the same machine, but the same sort of general style. It has a little terminal at the front with a keyboard of letters and numbers and punctuation. And above the tiles, above the sort of keyboard, there's a little slot with a ticker tape emerging from it. Whatever emerged previously has been torn off, but it looks like it prints something in response to inputs on the keyboard. What do you do?
I'm going to type The King in Yellow.
All right. Let's see. So it does like the machine.
I was starting a play script.
So you type The King in Yellow, the machine sort of like fires up, and the ticker tape starts to pump out. And it outputs a series of directions along the lines of, 3 shelves left, 100 meters north, things like that. It prints a whole series of these directions as if to, maybe a dozen different locations that you could travel to from here.
Multiple copies. Does somebody want to put in the author's bottle?
That was my next thought.
Feel free.
Yeah, I was planning to do that, but if Sarah prefers to.
Go for it.
All right, here we go.
All right. So again, it fires up. So the ticker tape emerges, and it says, but this time the output is just unknown input. Those words appear on the ticker tape.
Okay, who's up next? Or ideas?
I'll try entering the same input that Yelena did just to see if there's a different response.
Try something more specific, like the bottle of the author of The King in Yellow.
Good idea. So I'll type that in.
It again just says unknown input. Sorry.
Okay.
I will type in unknown input.
It will respond by producing tape that says unknown input.
Damn it. Any ideas, Felix?
What was the name of the other one they wanted on the throne? Was it Ariel or something?
Ariella Castaigne.
Ariella.
Yeah, I put that name in.
So this time it will output just one set of directions.
Okay, so he's responding.
Hell, might as well.
Gosh, I wonder what would happen if you gave her her own bottle.
Might help, might not.
It's certainly something to have, though. Let's go get it.
You know, does anybody else want to find their own bottle?
No, definitely not.
Yes.
I'll type my name and Yelena's name in to find out where our bottles are.
It is going to say unknown input.
Same for me and Felix, I presume.
Felix is going to get a set of directions, and it's identical to the directions to Ariella's bottle. Oh, sorry, the directions that you got for the name Ariella Castaigne.
Oh, now I really want to look.
I look over at Felix and it's like, are you somehow Ariella Castaigne? Is that something we just didn't know this entire time?
She may be my granddaughter or... no, definitely not ancestor. I know my ancestors.
Maybe it's just
in our
reality,
who was the author of The King in Yellow? What was their name?
Robert Chambers.
Robert Chambers. Type that in.
I think that your characters have never heard the name Robert Chambers.
Okay, fine.
Okay, meta knowledge intruding on character knowledge. My
Sorry, didn't mean to.
No, that's all right.
Cross the wires.
I guess if you type in the name Robert Chambers, you're going to get a series of directions, but
we don't know who that is, so let's not do that. Okay. All right. I don't have.
Well, shit. Couldn't we just find a copy of The King in Yellow and look at what the author's name is?
I have several. Got directions to several copies, evidently.
I'm pretty sure Yelena carries her own copy from before, from the McAllister building, or rather the Ninth Floors, or wherever it is she picked it up.
Well, take a look at it.
I don't remember exactly. Yeah, I'll just take a look at it.
And sorry, what are you looking for specifically?
If the King of Yellow actually has an author credit on it.
Oh, it does not.
Oh, okay.
In fact, Yelena and Sarah, you probably remember from your research that this was like a big focus for the original French intelligence operation in the 1890s. They were trying to figure out who'd written this play that was causing so much trouble, but never identified someone.
That's because, no one in our reality wrote it.
Well, at least not yet. All right, we're at the top of the hour, so let's take a 5-minute break here, if that's good for everyone.
Your face doing all right, Blake?
Interesting sentence.
That's a hell of a way to put it.
Yeah, it's all right. It's they didn't get it all, so they've got to go back in and cut more out.
Oh shit! That's
Sorry to hear that.
Ow.
At least they know they need to go back in and get it, and then it'll be fixed.
That's a lot better than not knowing and thinking everything's okay.
Yeah, have it bite you on the ass later. Yeah.
There's a basil cell.
It's the skin cancer I've had cut out.
A basil cell or a squamous cell?
They just said it's getting worse. So
okay, morbid curiosity. Sorry, doctor.
All right, but
All right. Is there anything else that you want to type into the machine, or are you going to continue either towards the directions you've received or some other direction?
Just for shits and giggles, I want to type in person.
Mm-hmm. It will again output a set of directions.
I will raise an eyebrow at that and take those
in fact,
with me.
again, it will output. No, it will just output one direction, one set of directions.
I'm going to type in Night Floors Hotel. What was that hotel called? McAllister.
9 Floors McAllister. No, it will just say unknown input.
Okay.
Names.
I'm
Like
going
if
to
you typed in
Juliet Bash.
Input unknown.
Good.
Felix, if you really want to have to find that, use one of the residents of the ninth floors. For example, Castaigne. What was his name? Harold Castaigne?
Henri Castaigne, I believe, was the night manager.
So I'll type that in.
It will output a set of directions that are, again, identical to the ones that you got for Felix and Ariella.
How about Abigail Wright?
It will output a set of directions, not the same ones.
We've got a lot of directions here, folks.
We've got a lot of directions. Okay, my only other idea is any of the, like, if we are in fact the 4 escapees from that hospital, what about the names we were originally given for those escapees?
I'm also wondering about Michael Whitwer.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of names, guys.
For any of those names, you're going to get input unknown.
All right. I think we've got enough stuff here. Where are we going to go first?
Well, the only way we're going to cover all this is if we split up.
Oh, and I don't think that's a good idea.
Considering we're staring at a labyrinth, I agree with you. But unless you have a better idea,
let's pick one and try it. Shall we go with the Felix, Ariel, Castaigne, etc. one?
That one seems most important.
Yeah, Abigail Wright intrigues me, but I think that's one's going to be the one that matters the most. Let's do that.
Just for the record, we know that we all wind up at the masquerade. So we could, in theory...
We don't know that we all wind up in the masquerade in good shape.
I would argue that we're not in good shape now. I mean, look at Felix.
I think things can get worse, don't you?
Things can always get worse. This is why I'm saying maybe we should consider nullification instead of just...
Stop it,
Sarah. Letting people have Carcosa.
Sarah.
So if you're going to head towards the Felix/Castaigne directions, then I feel it's only appropriate to let Felix make the next roll to navigate. I think you could plausibly go with int by 5 just to follow the directions, but if there's something else you'd like to roll, you're welcome to do that.
He's got a pretty good int.
Yeah. Unless there's like differences in smells, and I could try chemistry, I guess, and I could try and figure out the chemicals. Otherwise, yeah.
Right. I think you might smell like there's a very strong musty book smell, but I don't think your chemistry is going to help.
I was about to say they're following directions on a piece of paper. Maybe what I should do is just bring out my
right. So I made it by 39 in that case.
All right. So as you follow the directions, there is a smell that gets stronger along the way. And before too long, you realize that it's animal urine. And if you continue along that way, you come to a space amongst the shelves that where some of the shelving has been knocked over and books have sort of been shredded or ripped up somehow. And it's obviously some sort of animal nest or something like that that's been made out of the books. Whatever animal lives here is not here at the moment. And you're able to continue on your way. Do you just keep going, or what do you do?
Keep going, but just being wary.
Just a quick look at a book or two.
Yeah. I mean, what you're noticing is that the deeper in here you get, there's still lots of books, but now there's, almost an even balance of books and bottles, more and more bottles as you progress. It's getting darker as well. Now you are needing the helmet lights. There's not even the dim light that you were seeing before. You're also starting to notice these sort of weird perceptual effects, the weird little stabs of deja vu, movement that seems almost like a film skipping or something like that out of the corners of your eye. The carpet is getting more and more frayed and threadbare beneath your feet. You can see the concrete underneath. But you think that if it was intact, you'd be seeing a pattern of yellow signs on the carpet. And the directions lead you into another sort of larger room where the shelves open out. This seems to be some sort of quite comfortable reading room. There's a smell of cigar smoke, maybe even a cigar still sort of smouldering in an ashtray on the table. Books and bottles lining the shelves. One finely made leather-bound book sitting on the table, and nobody else that you see around here.
What's
What
the
do you
book
do?
on the table?
It's called The Imperial Dynasty of America by Henri Castaigne.
History book. Is this where the directions led us to?
Yeah. And I mean, your characters will surely remember, even if you don't, that you got a copy of the manuscript for this book from a locked box in Henri Castaigne's apartment.
That's
back
right.
at the Night Floors. But this is, been bound or published or what have you.
Peruse the book.
So it's sorry, the word has escaped me. It's a sort of lineage of descent from the King in Yellow through the various noble houses of Carcosa, and a lengthy analysis of who the true heir to the throne is in these times, and the just sort of flipping through to the end. Castaigne comes to the angry conclusion that it's the Straussman line that is the true heir and not his own family. And denounces the Straussmans as inappropriate heirs.
Felix.
Yeah.
Yeah, this book says you're the rightful heir to the throne. And in fact the author is one of the scions of the Castaigne line who has come to that conclusion against their
I didn't think any of us are monarchists, so how much stock do we want to put in that?
I'm just gonna hang on to this book.
For some weird ultimate reality, they have a very mundane secession program.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, everything has rules, right?
But it does look like it's got my family in there. They've traced at least the previous 3 generations as correct.
Pretty damn clearly. Well, I'll just hold on to this against the possibility that you decide to claim your heritage. So we'll have a little documentation.
I have to, but yeah. All right.
But so his I thought we might find a bottle, but maybe this is what we find.
You can make an alertness check to sort of search the bottles around this room and see if you find anything.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes, I made mine.
All right. So it takes some time to check all of the bottles, but none of them are all of them have names on them, and none of them are names that you know.
So I guess this is what the machine pointed us to.
Could I? Okay, maybe this is an out there idea, but could I make a bureaucracy check to see if there's any organizational pattern to these bottles and books?
Yeah, you can. Go ahead.
Oh, did not make it.
Could I make an occult roll?
Yeah, sure. And sorry, just to be clear, that's for the same thing, to try and discern a pattern to the way the books have been arranged?
Yeah, they may not be in Dewey Decimal, or they may not be like organized according to some system like that, but maybe we can't perceive the system because it's occult in nature.
Mm-hmm.
That is 57 under 90, I think.
Yeah. So it doesn't correspond to any set of, arcane correspondences or occult organizing principles that you can think of.
Okay.
You're welcome. Anyone who'd like to is welcome to try an unnatural roll to see if it's, not so much a human system of occultism, but something stranger.
Sure. I'll do that. See if I can roll under 16 here. Oh, that's 4 under 16.
So you do have a realization about the organization here. It's not the kind of realization that's going to help you figure out where to find a particular object, but you realize that these are not organized like shelves, like any library system, archival system, occult system, anything like that. The space is organized like streets, and you realize that the Whisper Labyrinth is Carcosa, that this is the city that you've been looking for.
After a moment or two of stunned silence, I will share that with the group.
And I think it will make sense, intuitive sense to all of you, even though it's hard to see what that really means at this point.
Okay.
So if these are streets, does that mean the bottles are the people? The shelves are buildings?
Houses. Yeah.
Is this what we have to look forward to?
No, I don't think so. We're going to be at a masquerade, remember? We're just seeing, if I understand you right, we're just seeing things at a symbolic level.
I sure as shit hope it's a symbolic level.
Wow.
Carcosa had towers and suns and seas and all manner of thing that we recognize. It was not like this.
Well,
so if
shelves could be towers, and the lights in the bookstore, or even our headlamps, could be suns.
They could, but what it means is that there is another, we're seeing this a different way. So it strains the definition of what is a little bit. But if we may be able to choose to see it how we want to, if we learn how to do that.
This is what Person meant outside the McAllister building when he said I was already there.
Yeah.
These were organized like streets. We were talking on a street.
So the more we delve into this, Sarah, the more it seems to become clear that all of these things are what Carcosa looks like, but our frame of reference changes. And perhaps as we understand this better, we will be able to do that at will, to actually see it in this way and then in that way. And they're all true.
maybe it's not as complicated as we're thinking. If this is laid out like the city, then the widest, longest street is going to take us to the palace. That's where the masquerade is.
Yes, but we still have to find the bottle.
We do still have to find the bottle. But if this is some sort of representation of every city,
well, we know.
Then I'm gonna look. Sorry, just one sec. I'm gonna look directly at Sarah and be like, our bottles are probably wherever our house is. And the author's bottle, I suppose. Well, I don't know. We have to figure out whatever building that might be.
Well, based on what Prasan told us, the author's bottle might be whoever we choose the author to be. So it might be where Tara's house would be.
Yes, I think that's probably true. I don't think that the author's bottle is some sort of empty vessel that we hand to anyone.
I mean, if you start signing your name on the copies of the play and then head to the fire station, are you then the author and then you find your bottle?
I don't know.
Look, if we're deciding that Tara is the author, then she already is, as far as I understand this.
And that was the deal that we
still
made.
have to find the
Don't
bottle.
destroy the author's bottle. Tara's writing the play. We all agreed on that. So
I'm for it.
that means it has to be either at Tara's house or wherever the fire station would be.
Right.
Well,
and if we got directions pointing to Felix's bottle, then we could figure out where each of our places are in relation to where his is.
Well, the directions you got for Felix's name brought you to this book, but not to Felix's bottle.
To the book, not to the bottle.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay, well, if we can figure out, presumably, where we are right now, then we could find out where each of our places are in relation to that. I guess.
It's possible. Lead the way.
Okay, how do we find out where we are right this moment?
Navigation?
Anthropology?
I might be able to use anthropology, I suppose.
I mean, cities are, as you said,
That is true.
it's a city.
Yep.
And that's
maybe you can
anthropology
figure-
and also an archaeology.
Maybe you can figure out how, the city is laid out, or at least lead us to some point of interest.
Let's do it.
All right, go ahead and make an anthropology roll.
And I made it.
Okay. So let's see. So I don't think it's not that you immediately sort of divine the way that the space is organized or where you need to go, but you can make some sort of guesses or rules of thumb about how to navigate from what you know about the anthropology of cities. But as you lead the group on, very close to the reading room down the passageway that you follow, you find a body, quite bloody, somewhat mutilated. Yelena, if you're in the lead, make an alertness check.
All right. And that is definitely not a pass.
All right. So anyone else who'd like to make an alertness check, because you're also going to see this body.
I missed by one.
Made mine. 30
Right.
under 38.
So some things that all of you will see is that this body is sort of been posed or left on its knees. There is some graffiti and blood sort of smeared across the spines of the books and bottles on the shelves near here, which reads Hebrews 10:31. If any of you want to tell me, none of your characters seem to be very religious, but if you think your character might be able to recognize a biblical verse from memory, you can make an int by 5 roll to.
But I want to guess.
I bet I don't. I think you're right.
It's a dreadful thing to fall into the hands of the living God.
That is a good guess. Sarah, what you recognize in particular that the others don't is that although he's much older and there's blood smeared all over his face, this is Michael Van Fitz, who you first met at the McAllister building. He was one of the tenants there. He was threatened. You might recall he heard some women outside his door threatening to mutilate him and eat parts of his body.
And by the way, I did make my int by 5 roll to recognize the passage. I mean, so, yeah, I think we do it a cult with that as well. But
sure, yeah. So yeah, Brandon is correct that it's a verse that reads, "It's a terrible thing to fall into the hands of a living God."
Yeah, he heard women's voices saying it, right, which is what I heard when I was unconscious or whatever.
Do you continue on your way?
Rifle through his pockets.
Yeah, he has a wallet, he has keys, things like that. You'll notice as you get close enough to rifle through his pockets, you'll notice that there is a large hole in the middle of his chest.
So not a bullet hole, something bigger than a bullet?
No, more like a part of his chest has been cut open, his ribs have been cut away. Yeah.
Okay, then. I'm not looking in there. I'm not going to look in there to see if anything is missing.
Fair.
All right. Let's continue on.
Okay. So it gets hotter as you continue, and before too long, you find your way, sort of winding around according to the anthropological logic of a city. You find yourself at the you notice that there's mist sort of lining the ground, almost like a fog. It gets thicker as you progress, and eventually the shelves just sort of open up onto a vast misty lake. The lake extends in all directions ahead of you. There are a handful of boats set against the edge of the lake, unattended, tied to the shelves. There doesn't seem to be any way to progress further in this direction, save across or through the lake. And in fact, what you notice is not so much is like lights in the distance, but not the distance in the sense of the other side of the lake, but lights somewhere deep below.
Below the surface of the lake.
Mm-hmm. You can make an int by 5 roll to see if you can figure out what those lights are.
Are they the lights of the city?
Well, you can make an int by 5 roll.
Okay.
13 under 70.
Yeah, I mean, Brandon's right. That's definitely what they are.
We're on the other side of the lake.
And I guess the other thing you notice as you still stand here and look, is that, many of the passageways through the bookshop or the labyrinth lead out here, and there's boats tied up near each of those passageways. What do you do?
Seems there's
look
only
at
one
Elena.
thing you do.
Well, we could head back and see if our bottles are in other locations.
I don't know. Can we just decide that we've already found the bottles and therefore have them? I don't know any longer.
It depends how strong your convictions are, I guess.
Could I make an occult roll to try that?
To what? To conjure a bottle?
Well, to see if I can just like basically reach onto a shelf and see if my bottle happens to be there, or if Yelena's bottle happens to be there.
Interesting. You can make an unnatural roll for that.
Okay.
You did it.
16 and 16.
I should have. I thought there was no way that this would work, so I should have asked you before whose bottle you reached for.
Well, I will decide in hindsight that it was Yelena's, because that's who I would have reached for anyway, since Yelena seems to really want hers.
All right. Well, yeah. On one of the shelves just near here, you find Yelena's bottle. It is a glass bottle with a distinctive shape and Yelena's name, probably in Russian script, engraved on the side. It's stoppered, and the stopper is sealed in place with wax. How does that feel, Yelena?
Well, I don't know. Has Sarah given it to me, or is she going to hold on to it?
Oh, no, I'm handing it to you. It's like, and I think I just kind of like close my eyes, reach out, grab a bottle, and look at it. It's like, okay, so that worked. Here you go, Yelena.
I think Yelena feels really perturbed that happened so easily, it seems. And I'm gonna look at Sarah and be like, I'm gonna read it.
Just don't ask me to see if I can find anybody else's bottles that way. That was instinct.
I don't know what will happen.
You're gonna open the bottle?
Yeah, I think Yelena's concerned that she won't have another opportunity before whatever happens.
Another opportunity to do anything if you open the bottle.
Yelena might already be resigned to that.
You hear the sound of something approaching from like the way that you came. It sounds like a group of maybe a half dozen people or so.
I'll get my gun out and face that direction. Make a decision, Yelena.
Get it ready. I'm getting ready.
Yeah, no, I'm opening it.
Okay. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just checking what happens when you open your bottle. Okay, make a resilience check.
Yeah, figured. Passed.
All right. So that is 1d10 resilience loss.
Oh God. All right. D10. This might be it.
Does it matter that Yelena made that resilience roll with a critical success?
So that does make it. You're right. Thank you. That does make it the least possible resilience loss. So it will just be 1 point of resilience loss for the 1d10. Wow. I'm glad you didn't fail that one, because the loss can be very sad.
That would have been bad. I absolutely would have gone like under my breaking point.
Okay. So the bottle will whisper to you the secret truth of your life. What is Yelena afraid she'll hear from the bottle?
I think what Yelena is scared of the most is that.
Can we make suggestions?
please do.
Whisper
that you're descended from the King in Yellow as well, or
no. I think.
I
hear. I think the suggestion I had was that you're, that you're a Manchurian candidate. In other words, that you're secretly here to make sure that we fail at the last moment.
Hmm.
And you don't know it.
I'm going to suggest a Manchurian candidate in the other direction, that Yelena, because remember, we were pretty much all following Yelena, and that's how Felix got killed. So Felix appears to only be alive here. We can find directions to Felix's bottle, but that Yelena is here to ensure that the Straussmen take that throne.
All right. Mark, what is Yelena most afraid she'll hear?
I think like it's similar to along the lines of what everybody has, is that Yelena is in like that Yelena and in fact everybody are simply puppets, that there actually is no way to change anything ever, like no matter like in any way. So like, yeah.
Okay, so you open the bottle and it begins to whisper to you, and that's where we're going to finish for this week. And we'll come back in 2 weeks and find out what the bottle says exactly. I'm slightly worried that I'm setting myself up for a disappointing revelation because it's 2 weeks of suspense, but hopefully I'll come up with something good from all your ideas. All right, thanks everyone. I'm going to end the recording here and then we'll do Stars and Wishes.